assuming that's correct, and I won't dispute it, others may, why then did you say to him that it's his decision whether he has a ceasefire? Why did you not say to him instead, look, I have a very favorable military position, I'm the army chief, and my advice to you as my prime minister is, no, there shouldn't be a ceasefire. Why don't you put it categorically?
Well, I put it the way I put it very, very categorically and very clearly what the military position is. That it is favorable and there is no problem. In Kargil or in Kashmir or on the entire border, that we were capable of responding to any Indian
Can I interrupt
action.
and put this to you? Reading that chapter, I get the impression of an army chief who claims he has a favorable military position, who can achieve his targets and goals, and yet when the Prime Minister says that he's considering a ceasefire, the army chief says, well, it's your decision, go ahead. That is like plucking defeat out of the jaws of victory.
No, not at all. There was one is the ground military situation. The other is there was a lot happening internationally. The United States element putting pressure on the government to stop and whatever, that also was happening. So there was international pressure, US pressure, and then the political situation. Whether the political situation was good enough to sustain that pressure, I decided only to talk of the military. And
in other words, you're saying that militarily there was no need for a ceasefire, but politically, given the international pressure, given perhaps the weakness of the government itself, the situation may have been different and there may have been a good case for ceasefire.
Now, those are the decisions of the Prime Minister. What kind of pressure he can sustain and what is the political picture, he knows it better. I only talk of the military side and I told him there is no problem on the military side.
In other words, what you're also saying is that the Prime Minister couldn't sustain the political pressure.
Well, you can take it as you think. Yeah. Yes.
Of the Kargil operation, you write, and I quote, considered purely in military terms, the Kargil operations were a landmark in the history of the Pakistan Army. Most people view Kargil as a failure. You see it as a success.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it was a big success because it had impact even on the attitudes on the Indian side. How did we start discussing the Kashmir dispute? How was it that the Indians came that we will discuss Kashmir and there must be a negotiated settlement? Before this, there was no such thing at all. Kashmir couldn't be spoken. Kashmir must not be mentioned even in United Nations speeches by our leaders. So this was the Indian stand. How did India come on the negotiating table on Kashmir?
So in other words, Kargil changed the Indian attitude and response to Kashmir.
Kargil, the Mujahideen activity, the Indo-Pakistan confrontation every time, all that, yes, all that compounded, and I think the Indian leadership then, I think they perceived that Pakistan cannot now is beyond coercion. It is beyond coercion, and therefore there has to be some political negotiated settlement of disputes.